All right, well, hello and welcome on the Kodiak Broncos Podcast. And before I get into it, I just want to say a couple things. First of all, leave a like if you enjoy, subscribe if you know already. You can always wait till the end. Hopefully, I'll have earned it. And yeah, without further ado, let's dive right into it. So, I'm here to say something about Alex Singleton. Um, I don't know why a lot of Broncos fans are confident in him being an inside linebacker too heading into next year. Like, there's going to be a battle at inside linebacker two going into training camp. And yes, while Singleton, I understand what he's done so far. I understand that proven gets you a long way in the NFL, but I don't really expect him to be on the team going into the 2025 year. And honestly, it goes just beyond cap savings. Uh, I think the fact that they kept him through free agency suggests that if they move off of him, it will not be for cap reasons. So that is not going to be on here, although it would be an added benefit. If we did cut him, we would save like 4.9 million, I think it was. But yeah, so without further ado, let me talk about why Alex Singleton is going to get cut. So listen, his last year in 2023, the last full year, the last full 16-17 or whatever it was, we have on Alex Singleton was absolutely awful. And I know that a lot of it was because he had played really, really well in 2022 and he had, gotten that pay raise or whatever. And not to say that he didn't deserve it at the time, but yeah, thinking about the 2023 Broncos, I mean, it was him next to Josie Jewell. And listen, I just was not happy with how he played that year. I remember throughout the season, I was like, wow, our defense is absolutely on fire. But man, this Singleton dude is pissing me off every week. And the 2023 pass defense had a lot of faults to it. Like, it was very inconsistent, very murky throughout the year, and it did often get exposed. And Singleton was arguably the biggest liability that we had that year. And that's even with PJ Locke starting for most of the season as Kareem Jackson was getting suspended and, yeah, going through that little thing. But in 2023, his coverage stats were 672 yards, fourth most by inside linebackers in 2023, 471 yards allowed after the catch, which was the third most by inside linebackers that year, and 5 touchdowns as well. Shout out to Zach Seegers at Let's Talk Broncos. I pulled those statistics from an article that he had published in last offseason about the Broncos inside linebacker room and what the state of it was. And yeah, overall, you could see that the stats just are not good. Like, the box score stats aren't good, but even those stats require context. Like, I don't think Singleton did a lot of really good stuff in run defense either. Like, his whole thing is that he's like a cleanup guy, but he had the most missed tackles in the NFL in run defense that year, and the 8th worst missed tackle percentage amongst linebackers as well. So if you're going to tell me he's not good at coverage, but he's a fine run defender, I'm going to be like, are you kidding me? Because that doesn't change the fact that his batting average is and was one of the lowest at the position in 2023 as well. So if this is Alex Singleton while he's fully healthy and while he's, the leader of the defense, how bad is one that has not played in a full calendar year going to be, who's 31 years old? Like, history is just not on his side here. That's the overarching point I'm trying to make, is that history is not on Alex Singleton's side when it comes to his recovery and everything like that. And thinking about the 2024 Broncos, when we had lost him for the year, I remember I was pleasantly surprised with how he played in the Tampa Bay game after learning that he had torn his ACL in the first quarter. Just made it even more impressive, which was absolutely insane to think about. And while he, at least to me, looked very improved from his dismal 2023 season, I still remember him not being that good. I remember week 1 last year against Seattle, he missed a critical tackle on Kenneth Walker that Walker ended up taking to the house. So he still never looked that great to me. And now the depth chart is basically overhauled because now you have Greenlaw. Obviously, you signed a free agency. Now you have Drew Sanders, who is going to be healthy, unlike last season. You have Lavelle Bailey, who has had a year to progress, and a year, I think he was on the active roster from week 5 onwards last year, even though he was, a game day inactive pretty much every week. I'm pretty sure he was on the active roster, so that showed that he at least had a spot on this team. And listen, while Barton and Sternad, they were big liabilities last year in key matchups. They were, often exploited. They were taken advantage of on third downs. Like, teams kind of knew where to attack with our defense last year, particularly the Chargers, the Ravens, and the Bengals. And they knew that we had a clear weakness at inside linebacker last year. They had good seasons. Like, I'm not here to say that they weren't good. I would say probably they had good performances in 11 out of the 12 games. And even though when it mattered most, they didn't really deliver, the fact that they had games as good as they did with the expectations that they did was really something to behold. Like, Cody Barton, I guess you could kind of like be like, all right, whatever, because he was expected to be the inside linebacker too week 1 last year. But But Justin Strnad, who had been like a perennial special teamer, being thrust into starting because of the injury to Singleton, because of, us not having a lot of resources to attack key positions and, having a lack of draft capital after trading for Sean Payton and Russell Wilson. Like, that's kind of the fruits of that. I mean, Justin Strnad had a good year last year. Even though I don't want to see him again on critical third downs on the field for us, I don't want to see him anywhere except for special teams. Hopefully, it just doesn't come to him having to be on the field. He had a good year last year, and I forgive him for how he played in those games that I had mentioned. But listen, the defense played well in 2024, and all we did was upgrade. So we need him even less in 2025. That's just basically what I'm getting at. The defense didn't skip a beat without him last year. In fact, I thought we got better as the year went on. And to be completely honest, Singleton, we just don't need him. Like, that's the thing. We didn't need him last year, and all we did was upgrade this defense. So we don't need him this year. That's just what I'm trying to get at. All we did was upgrade. All we did was add Jahdae Barron. All we did was add Dre Greenlaw. All we did was add Talanoa Hufanga. So there is not a single weakness on the Broncos roster heading into this upcoming year. And if Drew Sanders or Lavelle Bailey can supplant Singleton as the inside linebacker too, yeah, overall, I just think that it's pretty much wraps on Singleton's time with the Denver Broncos. So what Singleton offers can also be replaced. Now, there is a valid argument to like culture guys and leadership in the NFL. And that's not something I think the Broncos take lightly, considering how much they've revamped their culture, how much they make dudes earn everything. Singleton was ultimately voted to be a captain last year, and that means a lot. That means a lot for a team that had been sputtering and rebuilt itself overnight in large part because of the culture that they had built. But, overall, I think that he can be replaced. I think that on the field, obviously, he can be replaced. And, maybe Greenlaw next to him will help. Like, if they see Greenlaw next to him in training camp, maybe that does something and puts Singleton in the correct role, a role that he should have been in to begin with. Struggling as the inside linebacker one, I can kind of forgive him for that because, that wasn't his role. But he came into the year of 2023 knowing that was going to be his role. So, yeah, I don't know. But organizationally, we just get by on our inside linebacker play. Feels like every year we have a lot of unknowns at linebacker and we just end up getting good play out of them. So, yeah, ultimately, I think that can continue here. Now you just rely on Sanders or Lavelle Bailey to take that next step. And as far as the leadership aspect of it, now you have Dre Greenlaw. Now you have Talanoa Hufanga. Now you have Patrick Surtain, Brandon Jones, and Zach Allen, and, Nick Benito, another guy who I haven't mentioned on here, Jonathan Cooper as well, who you are relying on to be those leaders of the defense. And Greenlaw in particular, he is the green dot, so we really want to see him step up. And from San Francisco, all indications are that he will be, the heartbeat of the defense. 49ers fans absolutely love him, and they say that he is, an on-field commander and leader of the defense, just an absolute field general. So the fact that we are getting Dre Greenlaw and the fact that we are getting hopefully good play out of him, that'd be a shame if we didn't. It just means to me that we don't need Alex Singleton. Like, that's just basically what I'm trying to get at. We filled the leadership role. We're going to fill the personnel role as well. And now you just rely on Sanders, Bailey, and Strnad to fill the void as far as the rest of the depth chart. So, yeah, that just basically does it for me. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below, and I will see you guys next time. Peace.